I've been using my phone as navigation on my motorcycle for years now, but honestly, it's been far from perfect. The screen is hard to read, it doesn't always react to my gloves, and getting my phone out of the case also isn't the easiest. So I tested this GPS to see if it's actually better or a waste of money. This GPS is the Aoocci C3 Pro. The box itself already looks nice, so that's a good start. This is the GPS, it's a 5-inch TFT screen. For comparison, this is my smartphone. The first cable is to directly connect it to your battery. Now I don't really like that, but you can get something like a Thunderbox to make sure your battery doesn't drain too fast. Then we have the actual bracket and ball mount for the GPS. A USB cable to connect it to your motorcycle that way. And the TPMS with tool included because this does have a replaceable battery. And the small rubber piece that must have fallen out to attach to your bracket. Okay, so I have been using and testing this Aoocci C3 Pro for a couple of weeks now, and I'm going to tell you all about the pros and the cons and how it compares to my original setup, which was the phone that I was always using to navigate. First things first, if this screen appears too dark on the video, it is not because it is actually dark, it's pretty bright to be honest. But I am using an ND filter to film this video, and that is why it might appear darker than it actually is. For the wiring, you do have to figure it out a bit. The way I put it up is with this cable into my USB-C port in my front here. And then I just connect it up to a little box where I can put in different types of cables, such as USB-A, USB-C. I just plug it into there and it works. It's really nice. The wire goes through this front here, it protects it. The bracket itself is very sturdy. It comes with a ball mount that's behind this, with 3 vibration dampening rubbers, so also no issues there. The next huge thing we're going to talk about is, of course, the usability in different weather conditions. Now, the biggest difference is when I used my phone, I was always so annoyed by the fact that I couldn't read the screen anymore on a very sunny day. When the sun was glaring directly into the screen, it was unreadable. I cannot even tell you the amount of times that I had to turn around on a big trip because I missed my exit again, because I just couldn't read the damn screen. With this one, it's very bright. Even when the sun is directly onto it, it's perfectly readable. That is honestly the biggest enjoyment out of this and the biggest upgrade when it comes to comparison to my old setup. Now, they do advertise this Aoocci C3 Pro as being waterproof, which it is. Now, keep in mind, I do have a screen on here that protects it from the amount of rain I can get onto there, but it's still got plenty of wet plenty of times, and it doesn't lose any of its functionality or whatever, so that also works perfectly fine. Another thing that always annoyed me on my phone was when it was raining or whatever, because it was in a rain case, I couldn't use it with my gloves on. So anytime I wanted to do anything on that, I had to step aside, take off my gloves and whatever. It was just a hassle. With this one, it does work with all types of motorcycle gloves. Like if I want to turn it around here, you know, I can do whatever I want, basically. The most that you can get out of this is if you compare it with a audio system, like a Cardo or a Sena. I have a Cardo on my helmet, and that way, with this, I can listen to Spotify, I can get directions from my GPS, from Google Maps, and even when a message pops up, like somebody texts me on messages or WhatsApp, I can just have it read to me, which is super nice to have. It's really enjoyable for me. That's the word I was looking for. It's super enjoyable. I can just chill, listen to my music, get my directions, have a super bright, readable screen. It uses Android Auto system, so it's like CarPlay. So it's super nice. It basically mirrors your phone. So if you don't want to use Google Maps, but you want to use Waze or any other navigation application, that's also not a problem at all. It also has TPMS, so tire pressure monitor system. There is one on the front and the rear. You can just read the amount of pressure that is in your tires, which is, you know, it's just great to have. It's good information. What's also super nice is that now I can just call people and I can scroll through my contact list. With my phone on the SP Connect mount in the rain case, I only could call one person via my Cardo because I installed that to be my emergency contact. But on this one, you can just, simply go to your phone and scroll through all your contacts, call someone, whatever. I don't know, it's just way more usable than just simply having your phone. Now, if we're going to compare this to, let's say, like a quad lock or whatever, like a simple, well, not simple, but a mount on your bars when you can put your phone on. Yeah, they also have anti-vibration dampening and stuff, that's true. If you have your phone on your bars, that's like, what, a couple of $100? Depending on what type of phone you have, it can run up into like around 1,000 even, but like there are not many phones out there that are more cheap than this GPS, so I just feel more confident in having a product on my bike. You never know what happens. but my phone is tucked safely away. So that's also a big plus in when it comes to this setup. Back on the topic of pricing, I do feel that this is a pretty inexpensive product, and you get a lot of value for your money, which is something that I love. That's also why I ride an NC750. It's just a lot of value for money. Now, if you want to buy one of these, you can check their website, Aoocci out. They do have a discount code most of the times, but if you want the most amount of discount, I can get you a code, my channel name, RepsWithRevs, and you get a 22% discount. I'm also going to be dropping that into the description, so you can just copy and paste that. Now, of course, there are also a couple of cons when it comes to the GPS. The first one is the fact that some of the lettering is not exactly what you want it to be. Like when you go to the tire pressure menu, tire on the last part is written T-Y-E-R. So not R-E, but E-R. And then there's also a thing where some of the upper and lower case letters, they don't match. So there's an upper there and a lower there. For example, phone audio. The P is a small P. It's not a big one. I don't know the word for in English for that. And then the other part where it says settings, the settings is a big S. So if that is something that concerns you, well, I mean, for practicality, it doesn't really matter, but it could be a bit of a downside for some people, I guess. The next thing is the TPMS sensors. Now, there's nothing wrong with them. They're easy to connect and install, but mine on the rear did not work. It did not want to connect. Now, the issue with that was that apparently, I think due to transportation, the battery was moved a bit out of place, but I opened it, I removed the lower cap from it, and I put the battery correctly in again, and it just worked fine. It booted right up, it connected to the GPS. Super easy, super handy. Now, if you do have issues with the TPMS yourself, or if you just want to replace your battery, because it is with replaceable battery in there, the type that you need is a C1632 battery. That is a C1632. That's what you need for the TPMS. And I'm not the only one. I have read a couple of people who have reported issues with the TPMS, like when it arrived, the battery was empty or whatever. One thing that I will touch on briefly is you do find some bad reviews on the Aoocci in general or on this product. And I have to tell you guys something when it comes to that. Most of the times, when people are happy about a product, they're not really that motivated to write a comment than if they're unhappy. So keep that in mind. I've used this for a couple of weeks, and I'm super, super happy with it. I haven't had any issue with it, not in the rain, not with connection or whatever. I'm going to keep it on this bike forever, for as long as it works, and then when it doesn't anymore, I'm going to get a replacement, because it's just that handy. But you can follow along on my channel, and when there is something that I have to tell you guys about this, I will update you immediately on it. Yeah, but so far I can't really think of any big issues with this. Now, another con when it comes to this Aoocci C3 Pro is, of course, the way that it works is it mirrors your phone, right? It's Android CarPlay, whatever. So it will drain the battery on your phone. Now, I'm not saying that it drains it all in a half an hour or an hour even. Like, you can ride pretty long with this thing connected to your phone. But if you're going to plan on doing like a journey or like a long trips, whatever, like after a couple of hours, if we're talking about hours, your phone's going to be dead. So keep that in mind to also get another way of connecting that to your bike so you can charge. What I personally do is I get a power bank and I just charge it that way. It just makes life easy. But for now, I am really blown away by this product. Maybe it was because my setup was so simple, or I'm just a simple guy, I don't know. But this is hands down one of the biggest improvements that I have done to my NC when it comes to practicality, and especially for me because I have long commutes, I like to go on adventures, I like to go on holidays with this motorcycle. This is just amazing to have. I wish I had it sooner. If you watch my channel or my other videos, I'm always the guy that offers a honest insight. I don't like to follow trends or hypes, I just like to be real. So the fact that I made this video and that I'm showing you this product is because I'm very happy with it. Of course, I didn't have it for years, but for the weeks that I have tested it, I just found it really nice to have. And that's the thing. If this would have sucked, I just would have outright told you guys. If there are any questions or whatever, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys!